Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a do's and don'ts style video. We are going to be pretty much covering all things complexion, mainly focusing on foundation, highlighting like with concealer, and contouring. I've done a how-to contour video before. I will link that down below. It was like the second or third video I ever did on my channel. Totally awesome. You should check that out because I'm super shy in it. And I also did a foundation hack video as well. Again, there are no rules with makeup. These tips are just ones that I have learned from watching some of the greats, some makeup artists, and following these techniques has really kind of amped my makeup game. So again, these are just tips and tricks. You do you, however you want to do your makeup, but I find that these really maximize coverage, give you flawless, beautiful looking skin. So let's just go ahead and jump into the video. I'm going to try to cover everything. Number one, you guys know this is the most important thing you can consider when doing your makeup is taking care of your skin. If you take care of your skin, makeup will look beautiful on top of it. So that is going to give you your best results. Number one, first thing I'm going to say, keep your skin exfoliated, use toner, hydrate your skin, and make sure that you are cleansing your skin and moisturizing at least every morning and at night. Obviously, find products that work for your skin type. If you have sensitive skin, as long as you do that, you're going to maximize the flawlessness of your makeup. The first thing to consider is, I know that a lot of people say they don't really, I've heard some beauty gurus and on YouTube say they don't believe in primer, and it really just depends. A moisturizer can be a primer. That's the truth. So if you, sorry guys, I have like a hair on me right now. I don't know what that is. Anyways, if you don't want to put a whole lot on your face, you can just consider your moisturizer as your primer. That is totally fine. Or if you have really dry skin, you can consider a more moisturizing primer. The other route you can go is more pore filling. So if you have deeper pores, blemishes, maybe slight acne scarring, you might want to go for a primer that gives you more pore filling results. If you have drier skin, try something like the No Pore Bloom Primer. This you can get on Amazon, I think, for like $12.99, $13. I've even seen this for like $11. Either way, it's not super expensive as it is. You can find this at Sephora. Another one is the Cover FX Blurring Primer. This one is going to be a lot less on the hydrating side and just give you that really extreme blurred effect to the skin. For me today, I'm going to go ahead and use the Guerlain Primer. So what I like to do is put one pump, kind of rub it in with my hands, and then I will massage that onto the face, focusing on where I need primer the most. So primer, I like to focus on where I see my makeup start to fade. So in the T-zone, that is where I see a lot of makeup starting to break up on my skin. No matter what foundation I use, that happens to me. And then I kind of work my way out, upward motions like that. And then I'll kind of distribute it to the outer parts of the cheek. So there is the primer. Now we move on to the foundation. Again, the foundation that you choose is really going to have a lot to do with your skin type. If you have very dry skin, you want to go with something more hydrating like the NARS. I don't know why, you guys, this name is so long and it always escapes me. And it's funny because it's like one of my favorite foundations. I've used this so much. This is the Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation from NARS. Another good option would be the Physicians Formula, the Healthy Foundation. This is a more affordable option. However, beware. Sometimes foundations with added sunscreens can cause your skin to end up actually being dried out. So if you have very sensitive skin or you're sensitive to sunscreens, it dries your skin out. Watch out for foundations that contain an added sunscreen. You can always put a sunscreen underneath your foundation as well, one that works for your skin type. So if you have drier skin, these are just some types of foundations to consider. If you want more of a matte look, I always suggest the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte. This is a matte that actually works with my skin. Even though I am pretty dry, I can pull this off if I exfoliate, moisturize, and use a good primer. And this is the foundation that we will be using today. Something else to consider is the tool you use. Now, when you get a new foundation, test it out. Try one side of your face with a sponge or a beauty blender. Try the other side with a brush. I swear you guys, foundations behave differently based on the tool you use. No joke. This is so true. If you guys didn't see my last video that I uploaded where I reviewed the Flawless Finish Makeup, the new foundation, you guys know that my Delium Tools 957 Precision Kabuki is my ride or die. I am obsessed with this brush. I probably use this 9 times out of 10. That foundation was the exception. A sponge actually worked better with that one. So test it out, test out the formula. Sometimes you will get better coverage, more flawless looks, depending on the tools you use. Now, the next thing I'm going to talk about is very important because if you are in your 30s or even in your 20s and you're noticing wrinkles in certain areas, I'm gonna give you a tip and trick, especially if you have wrinkles in the forehead area. I like to apply this with a brush. I'm gonna use my Delium Tools 957 Precision Kabuki, and I'm actually going to wet the brush. Believe it or not, I just have to reach down here quickly. I'm going to use the Hangover 3-in-1 RX from Too Faced. For the love of P, you guys, every time I go to film recently, there is a freaking travesty going on somewhere. It's sad, but come on, the sirens. If you have dry skin, this tip is a must. Spray your brush with some sort of setting spray. You can wet it with water, something. It will help get that foundation distributed on your face without drying you out too much. So I just go like this, pat it in, and let's go ahead and start with the foundation. This one, you have to make sure you shake it up pretty well. Now I start off with just putting about, this foundation is more of a medium coverage, so I put a good pea-sized amount on the back of my hand. That's how I start. I'm going to take my finger, I'm going to dab this, but I'm going to start in the center of my face, and then I work my way outwards. Time and time again, you will see a lot of people taking foundation, they just put the same amount all over their face. Again, while there's nothing wrong with that, makeup blends out. Just like when you're using eyeshadow, if you take a heavy amount of eyeshadow and you put that in your crease, and you were to take a clean brush and start distributing that, that product has to go somewhere. So that's what we're gonna do. You want the most coverage in the center of your face, and then you wanna work your way out. So I take my brush, I like to take a stippling effect, starting in the center of my face where I place the product and blending my way outward. As you can see, I didn't use a ton. That makeup is going somewhere. I like to work in sections with matte makeup specifically. Basically, I like to do this most of the time with most of my foundations, is to work in sections. As you can see, I didn't have to sit there and cake a whole bunch of foundation on the outside of my face. Next tip would be to work in layers. That is also important. Do not start out by just globbing on a crap ton of product, because that's how you get cakey. It's a guaranteed surefire way to get cakey is when you glob on product. All right, now if you decide that you want a little bit more, I'm a little bit red here, so I'm just gonna pick up a little bit more product. I'm gonna dab it on where I feel like I have a little bit of a blemish up there, a little bit more coverage, picking up the excess on the back of my hand with my brush and just blending away. Now you're probably wondering, Crystal, you didn't put any foundation on your forehead yet. And you are correct. So that leads me into my next tip. This is something that I actually just started doing recently. So I would notice that every time I would go to put on my foundation, my face would look beautiful, it would be flawless, but then I would go to put on my concealer and I would be lifting my brows up to kind of dab that in, and then the next thing I know, I've got this foundation just settling into the fine lines of my forehead. I put my foundation on my forehead at the very end. No joke. I do everything. I will contour, I will conceal, I will do it all. And then at the very end, I will then do my forehead, because then it gives a chance for the foundation to actually set on the forehead and not settle into those fine lines right away. So that is imperative. All right, you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and speed this part up. I'm just gonna do the other part of my face, and then we will talk concealers. All right, you guys, before we even move on and talk about concealers, I just want to say something quickly. Do not be afraid to blend your foundation down onto the jawline, even onto your neck. You don't want any lines of demarcation. That is never cute. You can even bring it onto your ears if you have some redness. The more you blend and the more things melt into themselves, the better your makeup will look. All right, so now that we are done with foundation, I love this. I love this foundation, you guys. If you have dry skin and you're looking for a matte foundation, oh, the L'Oreal Pro Matte is just so good. It is so good. All right, so let's move on to concealer. Again, it's going to depend on your skin type. Do you have dry under eyes? Do you have crepey under eyes? Do you have under eyes that tend to crease up instantly? All that stuff is going to play a role in how you actually choose the concealer. The concealer you choose, you want to be about 1 to 2 shades lighter than your natural skin tone. If you want to really brighten, you can go even lighter than that. It really just depends. I am finally tan enough to start using my Kylie concealer. This is in the shade Pine Nut. I really love this concealer, but when I bought it, I was just really in my winter white stage. So here's the first thing I will tell you. When you conceal, you see so many people drawing those giant triangles under their eyes. Now, I have done this before myself, but you guys, there's a better way. Start off in the corner of the eye, work yourself down and out, almost in like feathering motions, and only go that far. You can choose to blend this out with your brush, or you can use a damp sponge. With concealer, I like to use a sponge. I'm gonna work it into the corner and blend my way out. As you can see, it just makes everything look lifted, concealed, beautiful, without going too heavy. You don't want this giant, thick white cast of just super light concealer dragging all the way out. You just want your eyes to look brightened and lifted. So that is the key when concealing your under eyes. And of course, the type of formula you choose. If you have darker under eyes, you have more dark circles, that's something to consider as well in the formula that you choose. But this is really all you need right here. So just start there, because again, product blends out and it needs to go somewhere. You don't want to have so much product that you're blending and blending so far out that you're just ending up dragging it all the way out here. We want the focus to be on the center of the face. Then we can go ahead, if you want to conceal down the nose to brighten things up. Thin line just like that. I'll do a little bit on the chin, again, just to brighten things up. You can even conceal down the Cupid's bow as well. I like to especially put some concealer on my nose because makeup, oh, you guys, drives me insane. For some reason, foundation wants to slip and slide everywhere. All right, next thing is setting your under eyes. I like to use La Mer the powder. This is just one that I am really loving right now. It is not necessary. It is super ridiculously expensive. It was an impulse buy, you guys. I would love to repurchase it, but I don't know if I will. I'm currently looking for some cheaper options, so let me know in the comments down below if you have some good setting powder recommendations that isn't Laura Mercier, because I'm pretty sure that has parabens in it, and something that is more hydrating. So I like to put some of the powder in the cap. I take my beauty blender, I dip it in, and I pick up product as such. You do not need a ton of product. See, here I am. I'm already lifting my brows to take a look at my under eyes, and I swear if I would have put foundation up here already, it would have been a crepey, creasy mess. So I'm just going to take my finger and press the product in, making sure I don't have any creasing. The Kylie concealer doesn't crease very much, and I love that, at least for me. And I'm just going to go ahead and gently press powder into the under eye. The reason why I like to use a damp sponge for this is because it doesn't ever look too dry and cakey. And it looks really good. I'll even smooth out the under eye, pick up a little bit more powder, or my eyelid, not my under eye, because I conceal my lids as well, and press powder in. That's how I like to set my eyes up for foundation, or excuse me, I'm getting all flustered now. I'm all over the place. Set my eyes up for eyeshadow. Good God. All right, and then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Just press that in, make sure everything is blended. Take our sponge, dip back into the cap. I'm not a huge fan of baking, you guys. I'm just gonna come out and say that. It's just not my favorite. I'm more of a fan of pressing it into my skin and not letting it sit. Baking can get really crazy real quick if you have dry skin. So I just press, press, press. If there is any excess, you can just brush that off. My makeup is just looking really nice right now. Picked up a little bit too much powder, but that's okay because it's just on my eyelid. And then we can pick up just a little bit more powder, press it into the nose. Pressing your powder, you guys, check out my foundation hacks video of like how to like get your foundation like once you already know all these techniques, really setting your foundation in. Pressing powder in will really diminish pores and give you a flawless, pore-filled end result, I should say. So now that we are concealed, we can go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and put some foundation on my forehead, you guys. I will be right back. All right, you guys, so now that I have my foundation on my forehead, just a quick tip with that, make sure you are bringing your foundation all the way up to the hairline. Sometimes that's another area common for lines of demarcation, essentially. So now we've done that, I actually like to set my forehead with powder, but we're working with cream products today to contour. I am obsessed with cream products and contouring. I don't know why, you guys, it's just where I am right now. I think it's because I discovered the Milk Makeup Matte Bronzing Stick and the Fenty Matchstix. I have this in the shade Mocha. Both of these are just beautiful for that. So let's talk about contouring. When you guys watch, or when I've even watched a lot of how-tos on contouring, so much of what people forget to tell you is that makeup really depends on your face shape. You have to do what works for you. If I look at my face, the hollows of my face are pretty short. My cheekbones, it pretty much goes about like this on each side. I don't want to draw these giant lines. Now you can, it will just maximize the effect of the contour. It'll chisel it more, but I like my makeup to look a little bit more natural most days. I want to enhance my natural beauty. So I'm going to take the Fenty Matchstick. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw a line. Now I want to go slightly above where the hollows of my cheeks are. I'm going to go right above and I'm going to go about like that, like so. Now the way that I have been into blending cream products is to use my Van Av. This is like a battery operated foundation brush or cream product brush. I did a review on this. It's really crazy, but I like to use this to blend it out. I feel like it works really nice. And the Fenty Matchsticks blend like a dream. My hair is getting in the way and it's really annoying. So that blended out effortlessly. I'm gonna go ahead and do the jawline now. So with the jawline, you have to be kind of careful because again, you can attract those lines of demarcation. So I go very light on the jawline with the contour because I don't want a ton of that. You can use a regular brush for this. You can use a beauty blender if you're using cream products. The same rules go if you're using a powder contouring product as well. The placement of the contour, all of that stays the same. And then let's go ahead and do the nose. Now the nose is a special area because everybody has obviously a different shaped nose. Our faces are all shaped different. We're all different, and that's a beautiful thing. I like to try to focus on this part of my nose. I feel like my nose really flares out more than I would like it to. So I really want to try to slim down my nose starting about here. Sometimes I will drag my contour all the way up, but keep in mind, the higher up you bring your contour, the more elongated your nose is going to look. If you want to shorten the way your nose looks, you will add a line across this part of your nose. You can even shadow under here to get it more lifted. But the higher up you drag that and the longer your lines are, the more long and skinny your nose is going to look. So I like to take the matchstick and just focus right here, like so. Boom, and there you have it, a nose contour. Oh, you guys, if you haven't tried these Fenty Matchsticks, they're the bomb. You need to check it out. I heard a lot of people say that they were like iffy about these. Not me, I'm here for it. All right, and let's go ahead and bronze. I'm gonna be using my Milk Bronzing Stick. Again, where I place this is exactly what you wanna imagine with powder. I will show you a powder bronzer as well because I will set all of this by using a bronzer as well. So I just wanna go ahead and go right above where I did my contouring, like so. And I'm actually gonna contour my forehead using this. Contour, you have to imagine, is where you want shadow. Where you put bronzer is where you're going to get shadow. You guys, this product blends like a dream thanks to Tati. I purchased this. I never would have even thought to purchase this if it hadn't been for Tati. All right, there we go. So let's go ahead and move on to some powder bronzer. I'm gonna dip into my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer Palette. I'm gonna use this fluffy Sonia Kashuk powder brush. This is in the shade Deep Bronzer. I like to tap off the excess and actually even go on the back of my hand. And I'm gonna go right over that bronzer and that contour with a light hand and brush backwards. So this is just going to set that contour, set that bronzer, and that's also gonna give it even a little bit more, a little bit of an extra, a little bit of extra color. Make us look nice and bronze. I hope everything looks as well blended in the camera as it does for me right now. I'm really enjoying this. Why not talk about highlighting? Let's go ahead and do that. Ooh, I have so much crap on my desk. It is incredible. I'm gonna go ahead and dip into the Royal Glow from BECCA. Now there are plenty of ways to highlight. You can use a fan brush. You can use a contouring brush like this from Morphe. This is the M510 or something shaped like this. You can use a shading brush like this, like an eyeshadow shading brush. There are plenty of different ways to contour. You can pretty much use whatever you would like. The only time it makes a difference is down the nose, and this is another tip that I have picked up recently. But right now let's focus on the top of the cheekbones. I have actually been into using my fingers. This, I know that might sound crazy. I just take my middle finger here, I pick up some of the product, and I just lightly drag this along the tops of my cheekbones. I don't know why I'm loving this, but I feel like it's like the warmth of my finger just makes that product just blend beautifully into the skin. I don't know what it is. It just looks stunning to me. I'm living for it. I might even take just a little bit more. Really highlight to the gods. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, where it gets different is for the nose. Now, we just snatched our nose, as they say, right? We contoured, we made that thing look nice and thin and chiseled, and it made it look elongated and beautiful. The key now to contouring down the nose is to use a smaller, more defined brush. This is from Lamora. This is an angled shader brush. I will literally take this, dip into my highlight, and actually take that and drag that down the nose. So it keeps everything looking very chiseled, very contoured, and it's focused just on the center part of the nose. You can even do the same on your Cupid's bow. And of course, before I almost forget, we almost forgot setting spray. This is a new one that I'm trying out, you guys. I'll let you know what I think about it, but so far I'm liking it. Feels nice and cooling on my skin because it is really hot in this room right now. So again, there you have it. Those are my tips and tricks. Give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoy it. Share it. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Let me know down below if you use some of these similar tips. What are some of your more bad makeup habits that you might have done before? Were you a victim of the giant contour triangles or the highlight concealer triangles under the eyes using thick contour? Let me know in the comments. I love reading what you guys have to say. Again, I look forward to seeing you in my next video. I love you guys so much, and yeah, I will see you then. Bye!